Welcome to GCCars. My name is Eric and this Rapid Blue Beauty is one of the best sports cars the world has ever seen. And unfortunately, it is dying. Not this specific Camaro, but the Camaro nameplate. And while it might in one way or another move on and live on in the Chevy lineup, the Camaro that is a rear-wheel drive V8 sports car is in its last and final years. Fortunately, Chevy gave us the keys to one to test it before it goes away, and we're going to compare it to the Mustang GT we drove exactly a year ago this week and see how much I like it. Spoiler alert, it's freaking amazing. But yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun with this. So why don't we just quickly get started with the exterior, then we go with the interior, and then we're gonna go driving as quickly as possible because yes, I like fun. Anyhow, Rapid Blue, like I said, looks freaking fantastic. The exterior, honestly, I know the refresh they did in like 2019, 18, somewhere like that. It has grown on me. Actually, it looks pretty good. Yes, they did the emergency refresh where I had the bow tie here, which was horrible, and then moved it up there. Way better. But especially with the 1LE stuff which we get, which gives us a whole lot of things, but for example the satin black hood, the extended satin splitter, we have new wheels with like supercar tires on there, Goodyear Eagle F1 supercars please to be specific. We have more stuff in the back. It just looks so aggressive, and honestly every single time I walk by that, even if I'm just taking out the trash, I'm taking a photo of it because it just, yeah, I love this. I love how this looks. Now, if we go around the rear, we got like these tinted taillights. We have the super aggressive stance. I mean, like, look at the hips, look at the stance this has, look at the exhaust. Freaking amazing looking. Yeah, no, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. Definitely looks better than a 6th gen Mustang. 7th gen that was just announced. We shall see next year when we review it. Until then, why don't we hop on in, frame those doors. Let's see how the interior is. Okay, now for a brief look at the interior of the Camaro. And of course, as always, we have the engine running now, so yep. Have I ever said that I love V8s? I absolutely do. Now, okay, I said we talk about interior. Yes, there is quite a few plastics. There are quite a few plastics in here, but all these touch points, even up here where we rest our arms, all that is really nice. With the 1LE, we do get an Alcantara steering wheel, flat bottom, Alcantara manual shifter. Feels very good. Good driving position, except for I would like the seat back to recline a little more because I'm a little tight. But other than that, it's fine. No, otherwise it's actually really nice. I don't mind this at all. The plastics that we do have, I love how when you twist these vents, it adjusts the heat. It's actually really cool. These vents feel better than in the EQS, honestly. Sorry, Mercedes, but sometimes you got to be the punching bag if you produce that quality. And speaking of quality, this is definitely way better build quality than anything you'll find in the Mustang. The Mustang was noticeably horrible in terms of build quality. This feels solid build. No, this is honestly very comfy. The Recaros we have here, insane amounts of hold, very tight, so maybe if you're a bigger person could be an issue, but for someone built like me, I have so much grip in here. It is very nice. And then gauge cluster is digital middle, and then speedometer, tachometer is analog. We have our classic Chevy infotainment system, which is not the most feature rich, but Apple CarPlay, Android Auto's wireless, which is important. We do have pedals, even though we have our manual shifter. That's for automatic rev matching, which I kept off just because it's more fun to do it manually. And the last two things is, it is an absolute tank in here. Like, I got in here and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, I understand why nobody sees out of this. Luckily, we do have the rear view mirror camera, which actually makes it somewhat decent to look out of this. Without it, blind spots are so big, you have basically nothing to look at. This makes it a lot better. And actually in conversation, it's really cool if you have like rear passengers. You can have like dramatic effects when it's like digital, and then you're like, when they say something weird. It's actually really funny. And lastly, the rear seats. Yeah, they're really tight. They're really tight. 5'7", 5'8" is the cutoff. Anyone else you can't fit in there. It's just the roofline slopes down. You don't have much room for your legs. The wireless charger is useless for anything that's a modern phone. The center console fits a wallet, that's about it. It's kind of pathetic actually. And the cup holders are in the way of shifting. The front one is low, that kind of works. The back one, forget it. So my phone is literally in the glove box because I have nowhere else to put it. We don't even have storage here. Not very practical. Not very practical indeed. Let's take a quick look at the trunk and then we go drive. Okay, excuse me, but who thought this would be a good trunk? Like, seriously? What? Excuse me? What is this? This is not a trunk opening. This 9.1 cubic feet of space. The Mustang is 50% more storage space. And more importantly, you can actually, you actually have an opening. This is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. You can put down the second row seats if you need to, but you still can't get anything in here. Whatever. That's not good design. I guess it's chassis stiffness, but come on, guys. This is not a Ferrari. What the heck? Okay, now out on the road in the Camaro, sport mode, ESC competitive, manual launch. Woo! Oh my god, this thing is ridiculously fun. Was that the best launch? No, it wasn't, but I don't care. We have the LT1. That is a 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8 producing 455 horsepower and 455 pound-feet of torque. And it pulls pretty hard. It pulls pretty hard. So these torque and horsepower numbers are very similar to what the Mustang delivers in the Coyote 5.0, but a very noticeable difference here to the LT1 is that the LT1 produces a lot more power and torque down low, meaning you don't really ever have to rev this out as much, which is, I'll be honest, a benefit and a negative. Benefit, of course, being this thing is ridiculously quick. You don't ever need to rev high. You can just get it wherever you need and just be in any gear pretty much and just send it and it'll go. The negative being in terms of like experience compared to the Coyote and the Mustang, it's just there's a little less incentive to rev it out. Meaning if you're down low, you're quick at the speed limit, which means you just kind of have a little less time to play around. I guess I'll say that. This is definitely in terms of like lap times, and if you want to be, the quickest at an autocross or anything, this is way more suited for that. But personally, I did like the experience and kind of the personality that the Coyote had. That being said, this LT1 is still absolutely fantastic. And it sounds great. It just sounds amazing. Especially because with the 1LE package, like I said, we get the new exhaust. So we have track mode. This is track mode. The exhaust I've been pretty much exclusively in track mode, except for late at night when I didn't want to annoy people, right? The startup is very loud in this, just so you're aware of it. But no, it just sounds great. The engine pulls this manual. Fantastic. Let me just go to second. We have auto rev measuring as well, but I'm not using that. Like I said, if it were on track, I would probably use it, but I'm just here for the experience. I'm just here to have fun, to, go to like a fraction of the limit of what I can do. Because of course, if you want to get this to a limit, you need to do a track day, which I wasn't able to do. And out here on the road, you're a little limited in terms of what you can do, but you can still just cruise. And you see the torque? So much torque down low. You really just don't need to rev this out. This just is fantastic. And everything about this car is just dialed up compared to the Mustang. Fair enough, the Mustang we drove you got to remember that was a convertible California package, so it was not really too comparable. You know, we would have needed to have like a performance package to compare to this SS1 LE, but you can already feel that this is more serious than the Mustang. And pretty much every bit as fun if you push it. It is amazing. The steering is great, very communicative, like the tiniest a dead zone. And as you can see, we have grip. You don't see me moving a lot, but that's because these Recaros are insane. If I do that with people in the back, which I did once, I gave them a warning. But yeah, they were flinging around. That was a little too much actually for them. I had to apologize. But no, it's ridiculous, and it just has so much power. The steering is really good at all times. The chassis is very communicative. You know what is happening. Even if you accelerate out of a corner, you lose a bit of grip, or at the launch you have wheel spin. It is very easy to know what is going on, and very easy to control every motion that this chassis in this car does that might not be favorable in terms of like accelerating. And it has grip. It has so much grip. Of course, like I said, we've not been on a track, so I did not get to go to the limit, but I've been trying to push it wherever possible in a legal and of course in a safe manner. And what I saw is just ridiculous. Like I said, we get these Eagle F1 supercar tires from Goodyear, which they have grip in the right conditions. In the wet, they're not as great, but not as terrible as people say. I read up some reviews on like these tires, and people said if you want to live, don't drive in the rain. I've been driving in like pouring rain, and as long as you drive it like a grandma would, you're absolutely fine, honestly. The problem more so is if you drive it when it's cold. It is October in Canada. That means it is not the warmest. And that's why I always have this tire temperature gauge, which they luckily have in here in my gauge cluster, because when that says cold, you don't want to push this. You don't even want to like 20% push this, because the tires lose traction extremely easily. So I don't know if I would keep these tires on long term. I might switch them out for some Michelins. But when you're on the right surface in the right conditions, stupid amounts of grip. And even if you lose grip, the traction control is actually really, really good in this. It still lets you play around a little bit, gives you a bit of rotation, a bit of angle, but easy to control, while at the same time not really killing anything you might want to do. If you pull onto a highway or something and you have wheel spin, it'll keep the wheel spin control but still move you forward, unlike some other traction controls which just kill you and you lose any momentum you might have had. This is very well set up. This is very serious. This is very fun, and I absolutely enjoy driving it. The Mustang, admittedly, but that's, like I said, it's not quite an apples to apples comparison. At slower speeds, I found the Mustang to be a little more special. That is mainly the Coyote being a little more, having a bit more character than this LT1. But once you start actually demanding anything in terms of like sportiness from this, it blows the Mustang out of the water. The GT, that is. And it is just, oh God, I love this. I absolutely love this. We have adaptable suspension, we have adaptable steering, we have adaptable steering, suspension, and exhaust. Exhaust, like I said, put it in track mode. There was no warning that it's only for off-road use or track mode use, so I'm just going to assume I'm allowed to use it on the street. Don't do it in California, because California is a little anal about sounds recently. And don't be a dick about it, okay? Don't do it at 11 p.m. in a residential zone. Like, be logical, be nice. Don't make people hate us. Building. And the pedals are actually, let me just upshift so I can downshift. The pedals are in a great position for heel and toe downshifting. The Brembo brakes feel great. The shifter is amazing, very snappy, very easy to use. The clutch, very clear engagement point for you to use. Suspension, admittedly, it is very good. I like it. It's comfortable, and this thing is planted. The different suspension modes, there's not like the biggest of difference. Like touring, so normal, is definitely a little more comfy than track, but doesn't make huge amount of difference. I often drove it in sport. Steering, I preferred sport. It's the right kind of middle ground between like too much effort, too little effort, and like I said, exhaust track. But yeah, other than that, God, I love this. I love this. This thing's fun. Stupid fun. And I wish this thing would stick around. I wish this would stick around. It's a shame that this is kind of a send-off for the Chevy Camaro as we know it, and there probably won't ever be a new V8 Camaro, and that's pretty sad. But why don't we just enjoy the sights and sounds here for a couple more seconds, and then we send it off to the final thoughts and compare it to the Mustang, see if this is worth the price that Chevy wants for it, and maybe talk about briefly why this is going away. One last second. Final thoughts. Okay, final thoughts on the 2022 Chevy Camaro 2SS1 LE, and I can only say, wow, what a fantastic sports car. It is incredibly well driving. It is comfy on the inside. The engine and transmission are just fantastic. It is so good, and at a price of $61,038 Canadian, it is an absolute bargain, especially price per, like, dollar per performance you get here. It is insane what Chevy delivers to you here. The Mustang we tested, the convertible, was $2.5 grand more, and it doesn't even come close in terms of performance. If you want to have a Mustang GT that has performance like that, first of all, you can't, not yet. And secondly, you're gonna get more expensive. You gotta pay more money. So if this is such an insanely good car with fantastic value, why is Chevy discontinuing? Why did it plummet in sales and even crash behind the Challenger and the Mustang? Because it is 2022. Nobody has the money to buy a car and another car just to have fun. We need one car that can do it all, and quite frankly, the Camaro can't do it all. The back seats, yeah, they're better than the Mustang, but this is just laughable. The trunk, don't even get me started on that. It is just not usable. I don't have a spot for my phone. I have a wallet, a dash cam, and a phone. And I don't have enough space to fit it all in somewhere where it's reasonable. I have to use the glove box. And that's unfortunately where it failed. Instead of using the amazing base they had for the 5th gen Camaro and making it a little more usable, a little bit more of a daily driver, they hunkered down on making it the best sports car money can buy for the price. And they succeeded, but at the cost of nobody really buying it, unfortunately. I think that's a miscalculation on the side of the leadership that decided the product planning, which is a shame. God, I love this thing. It's freaking amazing, and it's dead. It's never going to be back. So, hey, if you don't need much space, buy it. Buy it. Come on. You still can. It's amazing. I absolutely love that thing. And it's sad to see them go. At least we'll have the Mustang for a little longer. But one down, 2 to go. With that being said, on a very somber note, Jesus Christ. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to review the new Mustang next year. We're going to review an EcoBoost Mustang this year. And Challenger, kind of starting working on that. I'm pretty sure we'll get it at least next year. Hellcat then, hopefully. And other than that, we got the same car with a blow-on and 4 doors on top, called the CTS 5V Blackwing, coming very soon. That's going to be fun. So subscribe to not miss out. And love yourself even when times are hard. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Buy a Camaro if you can, and I hope I'll see you next one. Thank you and goodbye.